At the invitation of President of Mongolia, His Excellency Khuris Sukhokhna, President of the Swiss Confederation, Her Excellency Viola Amherd, paid a state visit to Mongolia on August 2nd to 4th, 2024. The state visit, taking place in commemoration of the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and the Swiss Confederation, is the first visit by a Swiss head of state to Mongolia. Mongolia and the Swiss Confederation established diplomatic relations on May 22, 1964, and the two countries have maintained friendly relations and cooperation. On August 2, 2024, President of Mongolia Khuris Sukhokhna welcomed President of the Swiss Confederation Viola Amherd at Sukhpater Square. Upon a report of the commander of the State Honor Guard, the national anthems of the two countries were performed, and President Viola Amherd greeted the honor guards. The two heads of state greeted the Mongolian and Swiss state and government representatives and heads of diplomatic missions and international organizations in Mongolia. Then the two presidents paid tribute to the statue of the great Emperor Chinggis Khan. Following the welcoming ceremony, President of the Swiss Confederation, Viola Amherd, signed the Book of Honored Guests at the State Palace of Mongolia. On the same day, President of Mongolia Khuris Sukhokhna and President of the Swiss Confederation Viola Amherd held a tête-à-tête at the State Palace of Mongolia. At the meeting, the two presidents expressed mutual satisfaction with expansion of friendly relations and cooperation between Mongolia and the Swiss Confederation in trade, economy, investment, culture, and education based on common democratic values such as human rights, freedom, and the rule of law. President Khuris noted that the Swiss side has consistently supported Mongolia's transition to democracy and the market economy and implemented numerous projects and programs in many areas of cooperation to strengthen democratic governance in Mongolia. President of Mongolia highlighted that these projects and programs have significantly contributed to the social and economic development of our country. The two sides affirmed commitment to consolidating the achievements and successes of the past 60 years of cooperation since the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The heads of state also discussed joint implementation of proposals and initiatives put forward by the two sides at the international and regional arenas and their contribution to the efforts of the international community aimed at resolving global challenges such as climate change, desertification, and environmental degradation. The two heads of state signed a joint declaration between Mongolia and the Swiss Confederation. The two sides consolidated the achievements and successes of the past 60 years of cooperation and defined the future directions in a joint declaration between Mongolia and the Swiss Confederation. The motto of the historic 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations, Mongolia and Switzerland for Peace, defines the foreign relations goals of the two countries. The two sides agreed to reciprocate the highest level visits, organize consultative meetings, strengthen political mutual understanding and cooperation between legislative bodies, cooperate within the framework of international and regional stability initiatives, combine efforts in mitigating climate change and desertification, and expand cooperation aligned with the goals of the two countries' long-term development policies. Also, Mongolia and Switzerland cooperation in agriculture, health, emergency, education, sports, and culture will be further enhanced. Foreign Minister of Mongolia Patsetsek Batmuch and Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Swiss Confederation to Mongolia Jurg Berny signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Democracy between Mongolia and Switzerland. Following the signing ceremony of cooperation documents, the two heads of state held a press briefing. I am sincerely happy that President of the Swiss Confederation, Viola Amherd, is paying a state visit to Mongolia at the invitation of President of Mongolia on the occasion of the 60th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations between our two countries. The state visit of President Viola Amherd marks the first historic visit by the Swiss head of state to Mongolia. Mongolia considers the Swiss Confederation its third neighbor and a trusted partner in Europe, despite the geographical distance between the two countries. We signed a joint declaration between Mongolia and the Swiss Confederation and a Memorandum of Understanding on Democracy between Mongolia and the Swiss Confederation. I am confident that these documents would determine the future direction of cooperation between our two countries and significantly contribute to strengthening democratic institutions and governance. We will implement a joint project to strengthen democracy, the rule of law, and good governance, foster cooperation between the legislative and civil society organizations, and accelerate judicial and legal reforms. We exchanged views on implementing joint projects aimed at improving sustainable farm and livestock management, ensuring food security, increasing the production of bioorganic products, and exporting agricultural products within the framework of Mongolia's food supply and security and White Gold national campaigns. We emphasized our common primary goal of overcoming and resolving global challenges such as climate change, desertification, soil degradation, and food security. We have agreed to collaborate on reducing greenhouse gas emissions under the 1 Billion Trees National Campaign of Mongolia and the Paris Agreement. Moreover, during times of crisis, such as pandemics, natural disasters, floods, and drought, the Swiss Confederation has stood by the Mongolian people, making significant contributions to protecting human health. In particular, I would like to highlight the project The Hut Will Not Forget. Furthermore, we agreed to display an exhibition on Mongolian history at the Reitberg Museum in Zurich in 2025, deepening bilateral cooperation in promoting national culture and supporting sports. I am overjoyed to have arrived in Mongolia today. It is true, but difficult to believe this is the first state visit from Switzerland to Mongolia after many years of close cooperation. I am delighted and have the utmost respect for this visit, for its momentous importance in the history of relations between our two countries. This visit commemorates the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the Swiss Confederation and Mongolia, and the 20 years of success of the Swiss Cooperation Office and Consular Agency in Mongolia. At the same time, we're looking into the future and according high significance to defining the relations between the two countries for the times to come. With this goal in mind, we signed a joint declaration between Mongolia and the Swiss Confederation and a Memorandum of Understanding on Democracy between Mongolia and the Swiss Confederation. It is essential for Switzerland to counter and halt the backsliding of democracy worldwide, as warned by the United Nations. We are actively developing political and legal relations, and we are successfully implementing many projects and programs in health, trade, and humanitarian sectors. Switzerland and Mongolia have similar positions on many issues of international relations. Namely, we are committed to abolishing death penalty worldwide. Ensuring peace and security is one of the pillars of Switzerland's foreign policy. With regard to this, I greatly value Mongolia's efforts to pursue peace and stability, particularly its contributions to the United Nations peacekeeping operations. Although Switzerland and Mongolia are far apart geographically, democratic values, the rule of law, and joint efforts on the international stage bring us closer. We affirmed our commitment to further consolidating our friendship and bringing to fruition our future opportunities. Prime Minister of Mongolia Oyun Erdin paid a courtesy call on President of the Swiss Confederation Viola Amherd on August 2, 2024. Prime Minister Oyun Erdin recalled his meeting with President Viola Amherd during the World Economic Forum in Davos last January. The Prime Minister emphasized the significance of this state visit in the history of our bilateral relations. At the meeting, the two sides exchanged views on opportunities to expand and deepen relations and cooperation between Mongolia and Switzerland. In particular, the two sides discussed prospects to implement specific projects in trade, economy, investment, culture, winter tourism, agriculture, sports, and humanitarian sectors, harmonizing the long-term development policy goals of the two countries. Prime Minister Oyun Erdin underscored that the Swiss Confederation is one of Mongolia's major foreign trade partners and expressed eagerness to expand cooperation between the mineral resources and the banking and financial institutions of the two countries. On August 2, 2024, Chairman of the State Great Ural of Mongolia, Amur Baysaghlan paid a courtesy call on President of the Swiss Confederation, Viola Amherd. On August 3rd, President of the Swiss Confederation, Viola Amherd, visited the Chinggis Khan National Museum of Mongolia. Director of the Chinggis Khan National Museum of Mongolia, Dr. Cholon, greeted President Viola Amherd and other officials at the museum and guided the honorable guest through the museum. The honorable guest toured the halls and exhibitions and signed the Book of Honored Guests of the museum, marking the historic occasion. On August 4, 2024, President of the Swiss Confederation, Viola Amherd, experienced the nomadic lifestyle and customs, enjoying a mini Northern festival along with mounted archery and folk art performances. The state visit by President of the Swiss Confederation, Viola Amherd, to Mongolia at the invitation of President of Mongolia, Khurelsukh concluded on August 4, 2024. Head of the Office of President of Mongolia, Mr. Zandan Shatargomcho, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Swiss Confederation to Mongolia, Jörg Berney, and other officials saw President of the Swiss Confederation, Viola Amherd, and the Swiss delegation off at the Chinggis Khan International Airport of Mongolia.